We've discussed the chord progression. We've also discussed a little bit on why those chords are being used, right, in order to match up with the melody, in order to just serve functional harmony, in order to resolve, so on and so forth. We also looked at a few interesting things like the Mixolydian scales and whatnot. And then, of course, we have talked about how to play it on the piano, right? So, yeah, nice to hear from all of you. Umesh, Carol, I can see a few of you there. Thanks a ton for tuning in. And we will do this again, and I hope to do this again. And I hope to also hear from you guys as to what you'd like to learn. Which song? I did put out a poll saying we'll do Hey Jude and a couple more. And it was quite cool that it was almost 33% in favor of all the three songs. I don't know how that happened. But maybe we can keep learning more and more songs. So tell me what you'd like to learn next. I'd like to do a few more YouTube streams. It's a lot of fun. And yes, I will see you guys in the next video. And do stay tuned to our YouTube channel for a lot more tutorials which we are trying to do not only on piano, also on music theory. Music production is also in the cards. Music composition, improvisation, basically all topics of music. We're also a very tech and a very geeky kind of music school, so we do a lot of technology stuff as well, which I haven't done a lot of, but yeah, maybe one line, Carol. Playing yesterday as well. You should probably check it out. And yeah, that was long ago. You may not recognize it. But anyway, so I will see you guys in the next lesson. And there are a lot more lessons coming up. Thanks for your suggestion about pentatonic scales, Manor. I will definitely do a lesson on pentatonic scales just for you. And we will be putting it out. I think we should be putting it out next week because yeah, I think I'll really love talking about pentatonic scales. I use that a lot in my riff, so it'll be great to talk about pentatonic scales. So any other doubts or anything you'd like me to do, if you're happy with me teaching songs like this, awesome, or we can do theory and whatever you'd like to learn. So make sure you write to us or write to me. You can use our school ID, music@nathanielschool.com. You can also write to us on Instagram. Yes, Autumn Leaves is a great suggestion. I will try and do it, or some jazz standards in the future for sure. You can also write to me directly on Instagram. I may not see the message that often, but do write to us on Instagram. You can follow at Jason Zach. You can leave a message there, or you can email our school address, which is music@nathanielschool.com, which we'll just type out in the comments if possible, right? So this is how you can connect with us. And yeah, have a great weekend, have a superb time, and make sure you play Hey Jude on the piano, right? Right, thanks Ruby. I was just jamming it. I don't know what I played really, but yeah, there are a lot of concepts regarding improvisation which I can cover soon. But maybe you can watch the video at the beginning. I've done like a random jam. I don't know. Yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, guys, thanks a ton for watching. Again, I'm tuning off. And if you have anything further, any doubts, anything to share, anything to add, do leave us a note. And more importantly, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. It really helps the channel grow, as I'm sure a lot of you know. Yes, I know there was a little bit of a syncing issue with the angle. What is happening is there's a little bit of latency created, which we have to try and sort out. I think that's happening only with YouTube. It's been perfectly fine for our Zoom classes. It's just YouTube. We will sort that out. I think we need another app or something to get this done. But yeah, thanks a ton guys for all your kind words. I will talk to you guys very soon. Till then, have fun.
Вот это и есть на самом деле. Встаешь.
Hi guys, welcome to this lesson which is the DJ Piano Theory course. It's over 2 hours long and it's basically 40 lessons combined into one video. This lesson is going to be entirely free, so if you want to learn everything here, just keep on watching. Now I just quickly want to tell you what I'm going to teach you in this lesson. It's piano theory and music theory in general, and I know it may sound a little bit boring, but it's actually really important. The stuff I teach you in this single video is how to play songs 2 or 3 times quickly. That's what I use to be able to do. Having said that, I completely understand if you'd rather just learn a song you like, or if you want to start playing it right away. We're not going to be playing immediately in this video. I'm going to teach you some of the ground for it. It takes you 2 hours to reach, but it's going to be really fun. Okay, so now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's start with the obvious. If this is a piano. Now I'm not showing the entire piano. This is the last note you can see on the right, and this is the last.
Hi guys, this is Jason here from the Italian School of Music. Welcome again to a lesson on dominant 7th chords, a chord which I really love, and I've been happy to have used it with in a lot of scenarios.
US troop reinforcements have begun arriving in Germany as fears over Russia's troop build-up on Ukraine's borders increases. Their first contingent of 2,000 additional US soldiers arriving near Frankfurt overnight, with others touching down near Poland's border with Ukraine. The White House says the troops will protect eastern NATO members from potential Russian aggression, but Russia says they're worsening already high tensions in the region. QIWI's Alexander Komnaman explains what's behind the US decision.
American F-15 fighter jets arriving in Estonia. A Danish frigate deployed to support NATO in the Baltic Sea. More and more allies are sending troops to Eastern Europe. It's not a choice, it's a must, says security expert Bruno Lutin.
NATO has to prepare for every possible military scenario.
It is not unrealistic, for instance, to think that Russia could create a border incident with Estonia to distract attention from an invasion in Ukraine.
To be prepared, the US alone is sending 1,700 troops to Poland and a 1,000-strong unit to Romania. France wants to send soldiers to Romania as well. The Netherlands is considering deploying fighter aircraft to Bulgaria, so too is Spain, while the UK may dispatch troops to Estonia, and Danish fighter jets have already arrived in Lithuania. Compared to Russia's, NATO presence in the region is still relatively small. But as the Kremlin continues its build-up around Ukraine, NATO is strengthening its defense posture. According to Secretary General Stoltenberg, the alliance is even considering deploying new battle groups in addition to the 4 multinational battalions already in place in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland. The 4 battle groups were deployed in response to Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014. NATO members argued then that they cannot ignore Russia breaking international rules and undermining peace and stability. And now, NATO is confronted again with what they describe as aggressive behavior, and its members are responding with reinforcements. Putin's goal was to have fewer NATO troops close to Russia's border, but so far he has to use the exact opposite. The current crisis, policy analyst Albin Aronson suggests, has galvanized the alliance.
Russia's actions, especially since 2014, have sort of given NATO a new impetus for its core mission, for which it was established to secure Europe, to deter others from invading or potentially destroying the security order in Europe.
And yet, that doesn't mean NATO will send combat forces to Ukraine if Putin decides to strike. In fact, the alliance has already ruled it out. But many members are increasing their economic and military aid for Ukraine, with the UK and Poland promising a new security pact.
It is unlikely that the arrangement will be something like NATO-ish, where the UK and Poland would have a duty to defend Ukraine. I think what we will see is cooperation in terms of military training, financing, making sure Ukraine has the military means also to defend itself.
According to NATO, it is all about defending its members. That is the reason for the reinforcements, the alliance says. Russia denounces them as hysteric and destructive. Both sides, however, say they are open to more talks.
For more, let's bring in DW correspondent Nick Connolly in Kiev. Nick, these NATO deployments to some countries in Europe, what difference do they make for Ukraine?
Well, I think if anything, Rebecca, they just show Ukrainians the value of being in NATO, something that isn't on the cards anytime soon or even in the middle term for Ukraine right now. This is all about symbolism of the US reassuring, especially smaller NATO members with smaller militaries on that eastern flank on the border with Russia. I think for Ukraine it doesn't do much. Ukraine in recent weeks has heard that all it can expect if Russia does invade are sanctions against Russia, maybe more weapons deliveries and financial aid, but no NATO military boots on the ground here in Ukraine to help Ukrainian army.
But as you rightly point out, Ukraine is not a NATO member, but these are, of course, NATO troops we're talking about. Just talk us through, if you will, Ukraine's relationship to NATO.
So Ukraine got a very kind of elusive pledge that at some point it would be able to join NATO back in 2008 at the Bucharest NATO summit, but that was never really clearly defined. There was no roadmap to joining. And since then, Russia has been making very clear that it sees NATO membership for Ukraine as a red line, and it is US lawmakers have been discussing giving Ukraine the status of a NATO plus member, which would allow it to get US arms more easily, other kinds of support. There have been various kinds of Western training missions for Ukraine's military, and then more in the way of bilateral military aid for Ukraine by the US. By the UK recently sprung those first lethal weapons from the UK recently, but there is no commitment by NATO to defend Ukraine. And as I said before, Ukraine is well truly on its own if Russia were to invade.
Now, this, of course, all comes in context of the Russian troop build-up next to the Ukrainian border. on the other side. How do the numbers compare?
I think this is a really important point because there's been a criticism from Moscow of these US troop movements, but they are tiny compared to what Russia is doing in the same region. So these are essentially 2,000 new troops being transferred across the Atlantic from the US, 1,000 being moved from Germany to Romania. This is pretty paltry if you accept the claim from NATO General Secretary Stoltenberg recently that Russia is sending 30,000 fresh troops to Belarus alone. These are exercises being held between Belarus and Russia in that country that also lies on Ukraine's borders, on top of the 100,000 Russian troops or more along Russia's border with Ukraine. So these really aren't comparable in terms of scale, and this is very much a symbolic move, but nothing that really changes the balance of force in this part of the world.
I think I just wanted to also gauge the atmosphere there briefly, if you can. How concerned are Ukrainians right now?
Well, there's a bit of a kind of disconnect between the world's attention on Ukraine and lots of Ukrainians seemingly going about their daily lives without too much of a change. But when you talk to them, they often will tell you that they are slowly coming up with plan Bs, taking cash out in case issues happen at the bank and they have to leave in a hurry. So there's a bit of a schizophrenic sense of a desire to keep on going, but preparation increasingly for the worst.
All right, Nick, thank you. DW's Nick Conley, yes.
Хостинг – это регру. German and Czech soldiers are carrying out a military exercise in Lithuania. The potential enemy? Russia. Their mission? Deterrence and a show of strength on NATO's eastern flank.
We'll deter the enemy with all the means at our disposal.
The world is growing less secure and more confusing. A renewed arms race with nuclear and conventional weapons is imminent. Existing alliances are crumbling.
We need to be firm, we need to be strong to deter any potential aggressor from attacking us, to preserve the peace.
Germany and its neighbors could again be caught in the middle between the superpowers.
Russia is laying claim to territory, and for the first time since World War II, a country is taking that territory by force.
This is a potential threat of the highest order, and anyone who opposes a rearmament debate is not just naive. That's incredibly dangerous.
Can the German military, the Bundeswehr, meet the new challenges?
I do believe that the German military is in a very dire and critical state. The number of ships that can't sail, the number of planes that can't fly.
Can the Western alliance system still guarantee security? What role does Germany play in NATO and in the world? When NATO sounds the alarm, the order reaches the 9th Armored Demonstration Brigade in Münster in northwestern Germany. This time, the man is out and exercised, but the entire apparatus responds as it would in a genuine emergency. The brigade provides part of the ground troops for NATO's Very High Readiness Joint Task Force, the VJTF. It was established in 2014 in response to Russia's annexation of Crimea.
I've received the alarm order, now I evaluate it. And then I decipher the letter combinations in the order to find out which alarm measures have actually been triggered. For that, I consult the Bundeswehr Crisis Response Plan. So I can see which alarm measures are behind the combination of letters. I'll check which measures are important for the VJTF brigade, and then I'll inform the chief and the brigade leadership accordingly.
Rapid response units are central to NATO's new threat scenarios. In this instance, an emergency situation that involves fighting off an enemy attack will be rehearsed in a maneuver in Poland.
Within 3 days at the most, 2,300 soldiers from 3 countries have to be ready to move. All the strands come together here in a high-security area at headquarters. It's a logistical challenge to coordinate the troops from Germany, Norway, and the Netherlands.
We have to establish communication with the 1st German Armored Division and the German Netherlands Corps. I want the initial results in 90 minutes.
The clock is also ticking for Major Maya An.
Nothing unusual to report in the area.
Very good. The Major heads a company of around 250 soldiers.
The biggest challenge for us is to be ready to move within 48 hours. My soldiers have to load all the trucks. The trucks have to be organised in convoys. My heavy vehicles have to be prepared for rail transport. 48 hours is not a lot of time.
Major An is an experienced soldier who has served on foreign missions in Mali and Kosovo. Now she has to ensure that the command in Poland will have a fully equipped workplace. Around 600 vehicles, including 70 tanks, are setting off from garrisons around Germany to head for Poland. The Rapid Response Force is more important to NATO than ever. But today, at a time when Europe once again has to worry about security, how united are the partners in the alliance? Washington, April 2019. NATO celebrated the 70th anniversary of its founding. For 7 decades, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization has used its deterrence capability to provide peace, freedom, and prosperity on both sides of the Atlantic. A day before this ceremony, the West's global defense and foreign policy officials gathered in New York. It was supposed to be a celebration of 70 years of NATO and transatlantic relations. But then, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence took to the podium to issue a review.
But still, too many others are falling short. And as we all acknowledge, Germany is chief among them. Germany is Europe's largest and healthiest economy. It's a leading global exporter and has benefited from U.S. protection of Europe for generations. Germany must be.
A not-so-diplomatic attack on the alliance partner that has not invested the agreed 2% of its GDP